Hi, thanks for joining me. I'm Brian Leroy Jones, licensed marriage and family therapist. And whether you're feeling anxious, stuck, depressed, overwhelmed, out of control, or you just can't stop fighting with your partner, you've come to the right place, and I can help you. In fact, as I'm about to walk you through, I do this not based on using some classroom theory, but using real-world, tangible, empirically based research strategies that you can do, whether you're 12 or 112, to achieve long-lasting results. Today, I want to give you an overview about how I work so you're clear on what you can expect in treatment with me. And this applies whether it's individual or couples therapy, although in couples therapy, I also use what's called the Gottman method. And if you're not familiar with that, I'll share about that later. It's also something you can Google if you want to look that up on your own. Now, as you watch this, and certainly by the end, you're going to know if I'm your therapist or not. So pay attention, get rid of any distractions, because this is going to be important for you. To start, I want to share how I think it would be helpful to shift your narrative about yourself and your experience to focus on positivity and empowerment, and hopefully give you some language that you can use to help make more sense of your personal and relational experience from a different narrative perspective. Does that sound helpful for you? I think it will be. So here we go. So let's talk about how we're going to redefine mental health and therapy moving forward. I don't know if you've noticed this, but the entire field of mental health is based on disorder and pathological symptoms. Thus, this creates a negative narrative that something is wrong with you or broken in you. This is why we say things like, I'm anxious, I'm depressed, I have ADHD, I have trauma, I'm bipolar, I have PTSD, so forth and so on. And because focus is on symptoms of dysfunction, you're focused on these negative experiences as well. So this is what you spend your time and energy thinking and talking about, whether it's in your own mind or to other people. Notice too how any form of suffering, any degree of discomfort becomes something to wholly eradicate versus the possibility it may be part of the human condition. We'll come back to that later. Did you know too that every study of a psychiatric disorder that's ever been done looking at the brain that has conditions of suffering show impaired integration of the brain? Impaired integration. Therefore, it is impaired integration that is the cause of mental suffering, whether that's clinical anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, so forth and so on. These same studies also show that experiences of trauma can create shrunken regions of the brain where regions of the brain physically get smaller. And so if impaired integration is the cause of mental suffering, well, what's integration? Well, in a word, we can say integration is health. It's wholeness. It's well-being. It's a life that's flourishing. Doesn't that sound nice, to have a life that's flourishing? Technically, integration is taking things that are different, things that are unique, things that are specialized, and then linking them together in a functional, cohesive whole, right? So synergy, basically. Now, a nice picture that I like to use to define integration is let's say you and I go out to lunch and I order a fruit salad. I'd say you order a fruit salad, but maybe you don't like fruit salads. And I know I like them. So I'll order the fruit salad. And so maybe I get some arugula in there, some mixed greens, some spinach. I get some apple and some oranges. I'd probably put some nectarine in there, right? And I take a bite, and what do I taste? Well, I taste the orange and the apple and the nectarine and the spinach and the mixed greens, right? All in that one bite, right? Versus, let's say we go out and we get smoothies, right? and we each order a smoothie and we drink our smoothies and we go, wow, this is really good. I really like my smoothie. I don't know what's really in it so much, but it's tasty, right? Well, a smoothie is homogenized, right? Everything's mixed together, right? Versus a fruit salad, right? Where you take a bite of these different components, differentiation, right? That are linked together in this functional whole, right? So you take a bite and you can taste the different parts, but it's all together, right? And so that's a picture of integration, right? A fruit salad. So pause. Does this seem helpful for you so far? I hope so. Hope it gives you a nice picture so far. Okay, play. So another way to define integration, and another nice picture I'd like to use for it, is an acronym, which is FACES. FACES, F-A-C-E-S, FACES. And this is a state of being. This is not a fixed trait. This is not a place of permanence, right? So F stands for flexibility. A stands for adaptability. C for coherence. E for energy. S for stability. So F, flexibility. So if you've ever seen a tree in the wind, right, what is it doing? It's the branches are moving, right? This tree is maybe swaying a little bit. Why? Because if it doesn't and it's windy, it breaks off, right? If it's too rigid, it breaks off, right? So that's F, flexibility, right? So are you flexible in life? Are you flexible in your relationships? A, adaptability, right? So similarly, you've probably seen pictures of trees on the beach, and some of these trees are doing what? They're doing this, right? And why do they do this and not this? Well, they do this because the wind is blowing this way, right? And so the tree has learned to adapt to its environment, right? And it's going with the flow, right? Versus if it's like this and the wind is always going like this and there's not enough flexibility for it to adapt, what happens? Well, it breaks off, right? So adaptability. Are you adaptive in life? Are you adaptive in your relationships, right? C, coherence. Coherence. So coherence meaning to make sense. The behavior makes sense over time, right? The responses make sense, right? The choices make sense. It also means a sense of resilience. Resilience meaning standing up well over time, right? The way they respond to stress demonstrates resilience, right? They're able to stand up well over time to stresses, to things that don't work out maybe, right? So do you demonstrate a sense of coherence in life? Do you demonstrate a sense of coherence in your relationships? Energy, of course, is vitality, right? A sense of energy in the body, right? It also means from a purely physics standpoint, the movement from possibility to actuality. The movement from possibility to actuality. So, for us, basically meaning there's a sense of agency. And if you're not familiar with that term, agency is this internal sense that I can do this. I can succeed. I can accomplish this, right? I can overcome this, right? So that's agency. So, in your life, is there a sense of energy, right? A sense of vitality or a sense of agency, right? In your relationships, is there a sense of energy or a sense of agency, right? And then S means stable, right? So not being a rock that's unchanging, but a sense of reliability, right? Are you reliable in life? Are your relationships reliable? Are you reliable in your relationships? So this is a nice way where you can easily assess, is integration optimized in my life? Is integration optimized in my relationships? Because if you're not noticing flexibility, adaptability, coherence, energy, stability, right? Or some of these seem to be missing or they're intermittent, that lets you know, wow, integration's really optimized in my life and relationships, or integration seems to be limited or blocked, right? It's impaired, right? And we'll come back to that too. It's not the end. if you're noticing a lack of integration. Relationally, and this is important, relationally, integration looks like one another being accepted, valued, honored, and respected for their differences. For their differences, they are accepted. For their differences, they are honored. For their differences, they are valued. And then linked by expressions of kindness, compassion, and empathy and communication. So if any of this is lacking in a relationship, it's because there's impaired relational integration. And the good news is if integration is impaired, then it means that integration can also be repaired. Let me say this again because I tripped up over my own words. If integration is impaired, then it means that integration can be repaired. Okay. So now we can define therapy as promoting integrative transformation, aka healing, where integration is compromised or impaired. So whether it's in the embodied brain, your mind, and or relationships. So where integration is blocked, in other words, we can strategically promote healing. We can strategically promote integration so that you're no longer stuck in suffering, but instead now there's more well-being in your life and relationships. There's more of an ease of living. So check and see, how does this sound to you so far? Sound good so far? Okay. So I'm going to pause here actually, and when you're ready, you can watch the second video in this series where I'll continue to spell out how I work and give you a more clear, specific picture of what a lack of integration, blockage of integration can look like in your life. Thanks for your time. Look forward to you joining in the second video.